Hey guys, and welcome to another Evo tutorial. In this video, we are going to be telling you how to create an auto Fairlaunch. So, to start, go to the Create tab and then click on the sale type you want. For this, we'll be using Fairlaunch. Next, you have to enter in your token address. If you don't have a token, you can create one here. You'll then see the sale type options manual in Auto, as well as the three below here. For this, we'll just be using Auto, but you can read about them all in our Gitbook. After that, you'll have to fill out all of these details. Here you must select the DEX your token will list on. We recommend V2, and you should only select V3 if you have a token built for V3 DEX. In our example, we'll use PancakeSwap V2. The token you are raising in, which will be your liquidity, has options depending on your chain, or you can pick a custom token and put in the address. For this, we'll just use BNB. The presale amount is the total number of tokens that you want to allocate to the Fairlaunch. These tokens will only be used for the investors. You will need to deposit an extra amount of tokens based on the percent you will put into the liquidity. The total amount of tokens needed for the pool creation will automatically be written on the bottom of the page once you submit presale amount, DEX listing rate, and DEX liquidity percent. This next box is where you will decide if there is a difference in the value of your tokens in presale and when it launches on a DEX. If you input 100, the sale rate and DEX listing rate will be the same price. If you input 90, the sale rate will be 10% better than the DEX listing price. And if you input 80, the sale rate will be 20% better than the DEX listing price. The DEX liquidity is how much of the raise goes towards the liquidity. Bear in mind this percentage of the liquidity will get locked for the amount you choose, and the liquidity pairing will happen automatically upon the finalization of the sale. 11% is the minimum you need to set for the liquidity. In our example, we will use 50%. To lock your liquidity means you cannot remove the liquidity from the DEX until the time has expired. The minimum amount of time you have to lock liquidity for is 7 days, but we recommend at least 180 days. The soft cap is the minimum needed to raise before you can launch. If you do not reach the soft cap, your sale will fail and you will not be able to launch. We will use 20 in our example, which is 20 BNB, as that's what we set our fundraising token to. The hard cap, which is optional for fair launches, is the maximum you can raise. This means that the sale is finished once you reach this amount and nothing more can be raised. We will use 50 in our example, which is 50 BNB, as that's what we set our fundraising token to. Next, you have the option of setting the minimum and maximum buy. The minimum buy is the smallest investment your community can make, whereas the maximum is the most they can buy. Our minimum will be 1 and our maximum will be 5. Again, these numbers represent the amount of BNB, as that's what we set our fundraising token to. Finally, in this section, you will have the option of setting the timers. If you skip this part, you can choose the start and end time after your sale is already listed on the GemPad Launchpad. It will be displayed as TBA in the meantime. The start date is the date and time you want your sale to start, meaning after this point, your investors can buy into your Fairlaunch. We recommend listing your sale 3 to 5 days before the start date. The end date is when your sale ends, meaning your investors cannot buy after this point. We usually recommend a sale lasts 48 to 72 hours. The estimated launch timer represents the expected time that your token will list onto the DEX. You can finalize your sale before this timer is finished, as long as the soft cap has been met. You can also finalize it after the timer is finished. Your project will not launch till you have pressed the Finalize button. Our sale will go live in 4 days' time and will last 3 days. The estimated launch date will be 3 days after our sale ends. In the next section, you'll need to pick whether it will be a public or whitelisted sale. You also have the option of having a tiered whitelist. If you set the sale to public, it means anyone can buy your sale. Whitelisted means only those who you add to your whitelist can buy. However, if the whitelist timer doesn't last the full length of your sale, once that timer runs out, your sale will become public. If you select whitelist, you will need to fill out the following. The whitelist timer is the amount of time in seconds that your investors have to buy into the sale. If this timer runs out, the sale will move on to the next tier if you have that selected, or it will become public. To create a tiered whitelist, click Add Whitelist Tier. This means the investors who are added to Tier 1 can buy first, and those who are added to later tiers must wait till the timer is up to buy. You can have as many or as few tiers as you'd like. However, like the normal whitelist, your sale can become public if the timers run out before the sale ends. In our example, we will have 3 whitelist tiers. Tier 1 will have 10 minutes to buy, Tier 2 will have 30 minutes to buy, and Tier 3 will have 3 hours to buy. Then, the sale will become public as long as the soft cap hasn't been reached. GemPad also has the option to reward your investors for referring their friends. Choose a percentage of your raise to be given to the referrers. The entire amount will be paid out no matter how little is referred. For that reason, we recommend choosing a maximum of 5%, but the minimum is 1% and the maximum is 20%. We are using 3%. Here is a condensed example for educational purposes. The project raises 100 BNB. They had set 10% of the raise for referral rewards. Total reward pool is 10 BNB. 20 BNB worth of buys was referred. There were 3 referrers in total. We will call them X, Y, and Z. X referred their friends who bought 10 BNB. Y referred their friends who bought 6 BNB. Z referred their friends who bought 4 BNB. They received the following rewards. X got 5 BNB, 50% of the reward pool. Y got 3 BNB, 30% of the reward pool. Z got 2 BNB, 20% of the reward pool. If you want to reward your early investors, you can add a bonus to your sale. The bonus period is how long the bonus round will last in seconds. Our example will last 5 minutes. The minimum amount for the bonus is the minimum buy needed to receive the bonus. We'll use 2, which is 2. BNB, as our fundraising token, is BNB. The bonus received percentage is the extra amount of tokens your investors will receive. So, in our example, 10 means our investors will get 10% extra tokens if they qualify for the bonus. The bonus spots available are the number of investors that can receive the bonus. We'll use 10, which means our first 10 investors who buy over 2 BNB within the first 5 minutes will receive 10% extra tokens. So, in our example, if person A is the first to buy 3 BNB within the first 5 minutes, they receive an extra 10% tokens. Assuming our Fairlaunch rate is 800,000 tokens per 1 BNB, a normal 3 BNB buy would get your investor 2,400,000 tokens. But because this person received the 10% bonus, they'll actually receive 2,640,000 tokens in total. This means the bonus they got was 240,000 tokens. If the same person had bought after the 5 minutes was up, less than 2 BNB, or they were not in the first 10 to buy over 2 BNB, they would not receive any bonus due to the parameters you set up. The Add Bonus Level button means you add another set of bonuses in the original time period. And the Add Bonus Stage button means you add another time period of bonuses. You can have as many levels and stages as you want. If you want to vest your investors' tokens, tick this box. Vesting means your investors will not receive all of their tokens at launch, and some will be held till a later date. Investors will need to claim tokens directly from the sales page whether they are vested or not. The amount you enter in the token release on the launch box is the percentage of tokens that will be released at TGE. TGE means when your project launches. We are inputting 20%. The cliff is an additional amount of days till the first release. So if you have a cliff, the first release after the initial release will be the cliff plus the vesting period. We'll put 30 here. The token release per vesting cycle is the percentage of tokens released each cycle. Our example will use 10. The vesting period is how much time there is between each time the investor can claim tokens. This example will use 14. So, with this vesting, investors can claim 20% of their tokens at TGE. After 44 days, they can then claim another 10%, and every 14 days after that, they can claim an additional 10% until they have claimed 100% of their tokens. You can also add a buyback and burn system to your sale by clicking this box. First, you need to choose the amount of the raise that goes towards buybacks. This is chosen as a percentage. We'll use 5. The buyback percentage per time period is how much of the buyback fund is used each time. Our example will use 20. The minimum buyback time period is how much time, in hours, must elapse after the launch of your token or the previous buyback till you, the project owner, can do a buyback. In our example, we will use 1. After the maximum time period has been reached, anyone can initiate the buyback. They don't need to be the owner. This is also in hours, and we'll use 10. In our example, 5% of the raise is used for buybacks. Each buyback, which is 1% of the raise, as it is 20%. In this section, you'll need to fill out the information about your project, as well as the graphics and social links. Here you have the option to pick one of our 3 packages. You can read more about simple, standard, and premium packages on our Gitbook. Finally, you'll need to click Create and confirm the transaction. And that's how you create an auto presale on GemPad. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.